Oktoberfest weekend is a time for family, friends, and camaraderie on the campus of Menlo College, and the day is never complete without a boatload of action from Menlo Athletics. With every varsity team in competition over the course of the day, there's plenty of chances to see the Oaks in action. And tonight we wrap up the festivities with the final of 3 games that hold large conference implications as Menlo women's volleyball hosts William Jessup University. It's getting crowded atop the GSAC standings, with the Oaks sitting just a half game out of first place, and we might see some history made tonight inside Haynes Prim Pavilion. It's the Warriors and the Oaks, and it's next on the Menlo College Sports Network. Greetings and salutations, everybody. This is Brian Brownfield, the voice of the Menlo Oaks, here as we wrap up our busy day of coverage on the Menlo College Sports Network. Oaks and Warriors wrapping it up. Women's volleyball action, late night party inside Haynes Prim Pavilion. For William Jessup, they're 9-9 on the season, 6-5 in conference play, and the season in a lot of ways has mirrored that of the Oaks. The Warriors have a win over Vanguard. That happened on Saturday after the Oaks beat them on Friday. They also have a win over the Masters University, and they took Westmont College to 5 sets, and they've been playing some of their best volleyball at this point in the season. So that certainly is a very encouraging sign for this William Jessup squad as they start to climb their way up the conference standings. Right now, as we go live today, they currently hold the final playoff spot in the GSAC. 6-5 is their record so far, and they're a half game up over Arizona Christian University. It's a very top-heavy attack on this William Jessup team. 4 different players have 145 kills or more, but no one else has more than 41. So when you're looking at this attack, it's definitely from the top down as Taylor Jackie leads the way with 207 kills on the year. Hannah Henriksen has 174, but she's inactive tonight. She won't be playing. So that means more of Taylor Jackie and, of course, more of Vendella Williams and more of Ashanti Grayer to try and carry the load. And we talked about Taylor Jackie. She is very special, and she is the Warriors' version of Moya Keikawoha. When we went on the air last week, we said that there was only one player in the conference that had 200 kills and 200 digs. It was Moya Keikawoha. Well, now there's someone else who has 200 of each, and that happens to be Taylor Jackie. 207 kills, 231 digs. The only difference is Mo has now eclipsed that mark, and she has over 300 kills this season. So why don't we talk a little bit about Menlo College, and they're 12-8. 8-3 so far in GSAC play, and they are just one half game out of first place. We'll get to that in a second, but let's get back to Mo. She has been on fire this season. We talk about her almost every single pregame show, and for good measure, she's the reigning NAIA Attacker of the Week. Now, she wasn't nails against UC Santa Cruz on the road on Wednesday where the Oaks lost in 5 sets, but she did pick up 15 kills, still an impressive showing for her. She had 45 kills last week as the Oaks won a pair of Golden State Athletic Conference matches, and certainly they continue to feed her, and she has not worn down yet this season. 305 kills, the top mark in the Golden State Athletic Conference. I mentioned we might see some history tonight. Pamela Dungo has been the Oaks' everyday setter now for the last 2 seasons. She's a senior, so this is her last year, but she is just 30 assists away, from tying the program record for assists in a Menlo College career. The record currently held by Kelly Sung of 1,495 in jeopardy of being broken tonight. There's certainly a chance it goes down if we see a sweep, and there's a better chance we see it go down if we go 4 or 5 sets. Pamela Dungo has been awesome this season. She leads the conference in assists with 729. And I mentioned the standings. But before today, Hope International held a half-game lead over Westmont in the conference standings by virtue of their victory over Westmont last night. So the Royals own the top spot in the conference at 9-3 going into today, with Westmont, Menlo, and the Masters all tied at 8-3 in conference play. And don't forget about Vanguard, just a half game back of that cluster. They're 8-4 in the GSAC. That means 5 teams are separated by 1 game. And guess what? We still have 7 games left to play in the regular season. So much can change in these conference standings. It's going to be absolutely thrilling to see how it plays out. So we have 3 minutes left to go here on the game clock. Ordinarily, we are able to get starting lineups pregame. Unable to do so today. So when we come back from break, We will introduce the starting lineups for both sides, and we'll get you set for volleyball. GSAC action as we wrap up Oktoberfest weekend. It's the Oaks and the Warriors coming up on the Menlo College Sports Network. right, so let's take you through the starting lineups one more time in case you're just tuning in. You found the Menlo College Sports Network. We have Oaks, we have Warriors, we have GSAC women's volleyball action. First for William Jessup, their lineup looks like this. At libero, 5'8 senior out of Peoria, Arizona, number 2, Casey Berger. At middle blocker, a 5'10 senior out of Sacramento, number 4, Vendela Williams. At outside hitter, 5'8 senior out of Sacramento, number 5, Taylor Jackie. The setter, a 5'8 senior out of Chandler, Arizona, number 8, Jessica Williams. At middle blocker, 5'10 sophomore out of Deer Park, Washington, number 13, Taylor Tarble. At outside hitter, a 5'11 sophomore out of Chandler, Arizona, number 18, Ashanti Grayer. And the defensive specialist tonight, a 5'10 senior out of Vacaville, number 19, Alicia Borges. And now for Menlo College's starting lineup, as announced by head coach Denise Sheldon in her third season. It looks like this. It's at defensive specialist, a 5'5 sophomore out of Humble, Texas, number 1, Janae Wooten. The libero, a 5'5 junior out of Murrieta, number 4, Luciana Herrera. At outside hitter, 5'9 senior out of Alamo, number 8, Nicole DiMartino. Middle blocker is a 5'11 junior out of Escalon, number 9, Jaden Scott. Middle blocker at 5'10 out of a junior out of Auberry, number 11, Abby Briggs. Senior outside hitter at 5'7" out of Kaneohe, Hawaii, number 13, Moya Kekawoha. And the setter is a 5'4 senior out of Hercules, California, number 18, Pamela Dungo. We are just about set to begin here this evening with the Warriors located on the left-hand side of your screen. And they are in the pink tops for Breast Cancer Awareness Month here in October. Black shorts, Jessup across the chest, and numbers on the front and back in black as well. The Oaks in their home whites. They have the navy shorts, numbers on the front and back in navy, some silver piping. Luciana Herrera wears the all-navy libero kit. And for William Jessup and their libero, Casey Berger, she's in the white top. We're underway, opening serve. It's dug out by Kekawoha. Back set by Pamela Dungo. It was blocked back to the Menlo side, but then Moya Kekawoha went underneath the net as she tried to play one that was right at the net. There was some contact also with Alicia Borges, and so the Warriors get the first point, and back to serve again is Jessica Williams. Line drive serve dug out by Kekawoha. Herrera for Mo again, and that one's dug out by the libero Casey Berger. The quick set and the attack and the block. It goes out of bounds, and you'll give Ashanti Grayer a kill on that one, and it's now a 2-0 lead here for William Jessup. They get the first 2 points of the night, and a hot start for William Jessup out of the gate. With Jessica Williams, the setter, continuing to serve. She lands that one in the back corner after Kekawoha let it go. And it's a quick 3-0 lead for William Jessup University. Now, we've seen this happen on several occasions. The Oaks have been very slow out of the gate at various points during the season, especially in their second match of the week as Briggs just free balls one over, and it's played by the Warriors. There's the back set by Williams. The ball tipped, and Luciana Herrera gets it back towards the net. Dungo pushes it over, and it's played down low by Grayer to the back corner, near side this time. It's 4-0 William Jessup. So they have come out of the gate swinging, defending, doing just about everything right so far, including landing one service ace, and it's 4-0 Warriors. Again, it's Jessica Williams on the serve. Herrera with a tough dig. Dungo for Moya Kekawoha flips it over, and it hit the ground, says the official. A late whistle, and the call on the Oaks get their first point. It was a weird-looking kill from Moya Kekawoha, but it doesn't matter. It works just the same. And we'll see our first substitution for the Oaks as Janae Wooten comes off, and Kristen Whitney will check on to play up at the net as Pamela Dungo goes back to serve for the first time tonight. The senior setter out of Hercules, California, now sitting 29 assists away from the program record. We'll be trying to track that as best we can. We know it won't happen anytime in the first 2 sets. That would be pretty remarkable as Abby Briggs and Moya Kekawoha combine for the stuff. The Oaks have gotten consecutive points after dropping the first 4, and now it's 2 serving 4 with Dungo back yet again. The senior setter out of Hercules, California has been remarkable for the Oaks from that setter position, is really the only one they have, and underneath the net goes Alicia Borges. So a little return to sender, so to speak. Anything you can do, I can do better. She goes underneath the net like Moya Kekawoha did on the first point of the night. And now it's a 3-4 match. The Oaks only down by 1 here early on in set number 1. It's Dungo on the serve, a hard line drive, and she's going to get an ace. Taylor Jackie stuck the hands up right to her face, and then the ball fell on the ground. That was not a good dig by Taylor Jackie, and that ties us up at 4. Well, what a response by the Oaks. We've mentioned it on several occasions. This team is just unafraid of falling behind as Dungo sends one right off the top of the net. And it's almost inevitable at times that the Oaks do that right after an ace. You follow it up with an error, but they've at least put themselves back in the match early. Now down by 1, it's 5-4 Warriors as Madison Marlowe checks on and she goes back to serve. She's just 5'5", and I think that might be generous. As Kekawoha sends one to the corner, it's dug out all the way back to the Menlo side. Herrera, Dungo for Abby Briggs in the middle. They give her a swing, and she's got a kill. Ties us up at 5. Abby Briggs does not often use as a swinger from the middle blocker position. That's just her 66th kill of the season. When she's out there for one thing. That's blocks, and she's combined for 42 on the year. Pushed at the net, back set by Williams. Attack for Borges, and she went right after Dungo and ate her up. It's 6-5 now, our score. Warriors back up by 1 with Casey Berger, the Peoria, Arizona native, back to serve. She graduated from Liberty High School. There's the service right to the middle for Luciana Herrera. Dungo for Kristen Whitney running the opposite, and Kristen Whitney has a kill. Her first of the night. And Kristen Whitney perhaps building off of the performance that she had Wednesday in Santa Cruz. The Oaks lost in 5 to the Slugs, but not to the fault of Kristen Whitney. 16 kills, 1 error, and she attacked it over 30% as Abby Briggs sends one long. And the Oaks just can't seem to pull ahead of William Jessup. They get even and then immediately service error. 7-6 Warriors back up by 1 with Alicia Borges on to serve. She's also an alternate setter on this team, plays both the defensive specialist and setter position. There's a service error. It's easy content for the broadcasters. We're tied up at 7 here early in set number 1, and Janae Wooten will go back to serve with Kristen Whitney coming off. So Wooten, the sophomore out of Humboldt, Texas, a graduate of Atascocita High School, the subject of a lot of conversation on Unrooted here in 2019. A floater serve, dug out by Berger, bumped in the sky, pushed over by Taylor Jackie. There's Herrera. Dungo slices one over for Schaefer, the block out of bounds, and the Oaks have their first lead of the night. It's 8-7 Menlo. So Lauren Schaefer with her first kill. The Oaks going with a bit more of a diverse attack early on in this one. It hasn't just been all Mo, even though the first couple of points that was happening. And coincidentally enough, the Oaks lost all of those points as Wooten angles one to the side, and it's now an 8-8 match. That's already 3 service errors for the Oaks. And I think the last 3 points have all been service errors, as a matter of fact. Taylor Jackie will go to serve it now for the Warriors. Lines up, and she sends that one into the net. I think that's now 6 service errors we've seen already in this one. It's just been back and forth point for point as Nicole DiMartino will check on for Schaefer. And Nicole DiMartino goes back to the line. She's got 13 aces to 11 errors this season. The San Ramon Valley High School graduate. Hard to believe she's in her 4th year as an Oak, as the Oaks tried to stuff it with Jaden Scott, and she tried to swipe it back the other way, and both times the Warriors were there to snuff it out. Dungo for Kekawoha. Cross-court dug out by Berger. That's nicely done. The set by Brianne Witt, and it's dug out by DiMartino. Dungo waiting as Kekawoha goes to the near side of the floor. Dug out by Jackie. Bump by Berger. Attack by Grayer. Over the net, DiMartino there. Herrera flips it. Kekawoha rallies it across. Nicely done by the Oaks. Witt back set. Tipped over by Vendella Williams. The Oaks have it. It's Dungo. Kekawoha rolls it over. And the Oaks finally win the rally. Wow. It all started with Jaden Scott attempting twice to solo block the Warriors, and it ended in one heck of a rally. The Oaks coming up winners, but they won't get that point as it's tapped over by Vendella Williams. And now the Warriors back within 1. They trail 9-10. And a substitution, Cassidy Ma will check on, and Ma will head back to serve. Still trying to catch my breath from that last rally. It's Herrera. Dungo into the middle for Jaden Scott. I don't know if that ever got over the net, but the officials say it did. Dungo swipes it over. There's the set by Witt. From the back row comes Jackie Wooten with a tough dig. DiMartino now free-balled by Herrera, but that's an illegal set, I guess would be the official term on Nicole DiMartino, and we are tied up at 10. Aside from those rallies to begin the night, 4-0 either side. That kind of is indicative of where we are. Even so far as Jaden Scott rolls out to her right, and she's got a kill to make it 11-10. Let's see Coach Tiger Shelton for the Warriors coming out to give some instructions to a couple players coming off. Shelton in his first season as head coach of the Warriors, and despite having over 40 years of experience as a head coach and just a volleyball coach in general, this is his first collegiate head coaching gig. As the Warriors answer back, and we have double six on the board. It's 11 up, 11 down as Jessica Williams, the original server, will come on, and she'll go back. Yeah, Tiger Shelton previously at Modesto Junior College. That's where he spent a lot of years before coming over to William Jessup, and he also has some history as a co-founder, director, and coach of Pacific Coast Volleyball Club. Yes, PCVC in Stockton. Back to the net, and almost running into it was Williams, and Herrera had a dig, but the ball falls, and it's now 12-11, Warriors back out in front. So that'll send Williams back again, the Hamilton High grad. She grew up in Chandler, Arizona. I got family out there. The Daltons over the net. It's Keika Woha. Dungo angles a back set for Keika Woha. Laid down a thunderous blast, then it hit the roof, came down, and the Warriors get it across. Last touch by Jessica Williams. Abby Briggs through the middle. It was deflected, and it went long. And it's a point for the Oaks, making it 12-12. So they come right back. So Pamela Dungo will now serve it for the Oaks. She'll take it straight on after we just confirmed that that was scored correctly. In fact, it was. Williams with the set for Ashanti Grayer. It's dug out by Luciana Herrera. Dungo angles one that went off the net. Somehow Whitney didn't touch it. Now it's flipped over, and Whitney's there to pop that one in the air. DiMartino patiently bumps for Keika Woha to the back row for Jackie. Back set by Williams for Alicia Borges. It's over to Herrera. Dungo runs up and bumps one to Whitney, who taps it over the net, and coming in down low was Borges. And an illegal set, I think, is the call. Yes, it is. Looking down at the name on my roster, and I heard the whistle read at what would have been the set, so you can pretty much tell what that was. And there's one gentleman who is standing up at the top row of the bleachers. He stuck his arm in the air with two fingers up, and that's usually a pretty good indication of what the call might have been. Berger on the dig. Williams, Jessica Williams on the set, and it's rolled over by Jackie. DiMartino bumps to Keika Woha to the back corner, goes long, and it's now a 13-13 game. Yes, 13-13 is our score. Madison Marlowe comes on, and Marlowe will serve. Not to be confused with Patrick Marlowe of the San Jose Sharks. It's a different spelling, and I don't know why that popped into my mind at that particular moment in time. Jackie with a blast that lands inbounds near corner, right on the Oaks. That had some heat on it as Taylor Jackie lets loose a really strong swing. And you can tell why Jackie is one of the more elite attackers in this conference. DiMartino, Dungo down low. Whitney sends it straight into the net. She knuckled it in, and it's 15-13. Warriors now up by 2. Jackie's a senior on this team, a River City High School graduate. She's up there in terms of the overall kills leaders in program history as a service error comes into play, making it 15-14, and the men's basketball team has made their presence felt in full-on Halloween costume. No, that's actually the men's volleyball team, excuse me. We're used to seeing all that tomfoolery from the basketball team, but that's the men's volleyball squad coming in, perhaps ready for the Oktoberfest dance tonight. That's a kill. Alicia Borges right there at the net, near side by the ref stand. It's 16-14. Yeah, so as part of Oktoberfest weekend, we have what would normally be, I guess you'd call it a homecoming dance on most campuses, but since we don't have football here at Menlo, Oktoberfest as Schaefer swings one into the net, and it's 17-14. Denise Sheldon, she wants her first time out. Denise Sheldon, not to be confused with Tiger Shelton. 17-14. Warriors up by 3 here in set 1. We'll be back on the Menlo College Sports Network. We're back from the timeout. The Oaks are down by 3 here in set number 1. It's 17-14. And back on the serve go the Warriors. It's Casey Berger on the service. Spins one towards the end line. It's played by Schaefer, Dungo, Whitney to the middle. Oaks get right back in this thing. Down by 2. Luciana Herrera comes off with the libero switch. And Abby Briggs will serve it. Dug out by Berger. The set by Williams into the center for Jackie. It went off the net and was played by Dungo. Briggs bumps one, nicely played to Kekewaha, who rolls it over. It's Marlowe, and the set tipped over by Vendella Williams. There's the bump, and the tap over by Schaefer. Down low is Jackie. Blocked, out of bounds, Warriors point, 18-15. And now that both of the Williams are on the floor, you got to start differentiating between the two. There's no relation. Jessica is from Chandler, and Vendella is from Sacramento. The service over the net. There's Herrera. The dig goes straight up in the air. Dungo sets Whitney, who waits underneath it and gets it across. Witt comes on to set and got it over to Jackie. Dungo for Schaefer winds up. It's tipped over again on a second chance by Lauren. There's Vendella Williams, floats it over the block. Moya was down low. Dungo for Whitney falling back, and she slams it into the net. 19-15. Warriors now up by 4, matching their largest lead. And the Oaks will make a substitution. Schaefer comes off, and Nicole DiMartino comes on. I thought for a second the Oaks might be trying to go with yet another timeout. That would be very quick to use them up back-to-back right there. Herrera, Dungo for Kristen Whitney, gets up and swipes one across the net. It's Berger for Jackie, and Kekewaha slides over to dig that one out. Jaden Scott tipped and reacted to on the dig by Borges. The ball was punched back over by the Oaks at the net, slapped into the net by Borges. She was caught flat-footed, and she just didn't get a good piece of that one. The Oaks down by 3 as Whitney comes off, and Wooten checks on. The men's volleyball team, they are a little bit amped up right now. Sent over off the service by Wooten. Witt set. Vendella Williams. Mercy. 5'10" frame on Vendella Williams, and she had hops like she was 6'10". Got up, and the angle. I'd love to see the attack angle. You know, in baseball, it's all about launch angle right now. I'd love to see the attack angle because that one seemed like it came straight down on the Oaks. Rallied over, Wooten is there. Dungo pushes over for DiMartino, and Nicole DiMartino's got a kill. Oaks down by 3, 17 serving 20 when they go back to the line. It's Nicole DiMartino. She'll take it from the back corner of the floor. Stands up, slaps it over. Sinker baller back towards the net. Witt's there. And attack from Jackie on the back row. DiMartino, Dungo over for Kekewaha. Gets up. Was it deflected? No, it wasn't. It's back to a 4-point game. 21-17. Oaks running out of time here in set 1. And Denise Sheldon wants to use her final timeout. You can see her walking over right before the service attempt by Cassidy Maw. So the timeout called. We'll step aside. Oaks trying to claw their way back here in set number 1. Back off the Denise Shelton timeout. The Oaks are now out of timeouts here in set number 1. And they trail by 4. It's 21-17. And on to serve is Cassidy Maws. The Oaks fans try to make some noise. There's the service. Herrera right there on the dig. Dungo, the quick set for Keikawoha. And Moya Keikawoha gets up and throws it down. 21-18. Off a big kill for Keikawoha, and they got her up at the net right now. That's where you want her in this situation when you're trying to mount a comeback. Herrera on the service. It's Jackie. Over to Berger on the set, and Ashanti Greer goes cross-court. Right there's Keikawoha. The set in the middle. Keikawoha adjusts for it, gets it over. Berger a diving dig with the set. Greer is blocked, but it fell right in front of Abby Briggs. And it's a 22-18 game. Remember, when these two teams met in Rockland back on the 21st of September, the Oaks swept. And the Oaks are now out of rotation, and that's a point for the Warriors. Well, at this point, it's really just at the discretion of the official because the players have obviously moved and there's no replay here, so Denise Sheldon is going to plead her case, and of course Janae Wooten says that she was positioned correctly, but that won't get the call, and so it's now a 5-point Warriors lead. And there goes the serve. It's Keikawoha the dig. Dungo sets Keikawoha, flips it over the net, played from down low. Ashanti Greer rolls one over, and it's played by Herrera. Now for Keikawoha's blocked down right in front of Abby Briggs. And the Oaks are down by 6, and they are in real danger of losing this first set. On the way, Jessica Williams. It's Keikawoha, service ace, and the Warriors take set number 1 from the Oaks. Impressive fashion by William Jessup as they start hot and they end hot. They began set 1 on a 4-0 run, and they end set number 1 on a 4-0 run, and they take it by a final score of 25-18. So we'll step aside with the first intermission and come on back with the first half stats. But as we step aside here for set number 1, did you get a chance to catch this week's episode of Unrooted with Abby Briggs? If you didn't, it was a great interview, as of course was expected. Briggs talks about her recent success from the service line, and she gets into how much fun it is to be a Menlo College Oak right now with all the success they're having on the court.
Just chilling on the weekend, sipping something on the cheap end.
How much fun was it to be a part of those wins last week, but in particular the one on Friday against Vanguard, a ranked team, and Haynes Prim was rocking?
Oh, it was so fun. It was a huge game. I mean, like you said, that they're nationally ranked, and that's our first time this season beating a nationally ranked team. I think we came into it with a winning mentality, and we knew what had to be done, so it was so fun.
And feeding off the energy inside the place
Yes.
as well. The fans were loving it, and it was such a back and forth affair. And it really seems like you elevate your level of play against the better teams in the GSAC, against the better teams in the NAIA. What is it about Vanguard in particular that you ladies just seem to always match up really well against them? What's your secret against Vanguard?
I don't think there's really a secret. I think that we just do really well when we know that we're facing a good opponent. Like, we're very conditioned to
Brian Brownfield back with you here for set number 2. The Warriors take set number 1 by a final score of 25-18. We look at the first set statistics, and it was all William Jessup. Each team totaling 11 kills, but despite the fact that there were 11 kills, the Warriors had just 2 errors, and they hit at 25.7%. 4 kills from Ashanti Grayer, 3 from Alicia Borges, and 2 for Vendela Williams. For the Oaks, 11 kills, 3 by Keika Woha, but she had 4 errors and she hit at negative 5.3%. 2 kills apiece for Jaden Scott, Abby Briggs, and Kristen Whitney. For the assist check on Pamela Dungo, who's nearing record-breaking status, 11 assists in the first set. So that puts her at a pretty good clip. She entered tonight averaging 9.11 assists per set, and she picks up 11 in the first set, so she's in a great spot right now as she sits just 19 away from tying the mark set by Kelly Sung, ending in 2014, and she's 20 away from breaking the all-time assist record here at Menlo College. So we'll certainly try to keep track of that as we progress. The Oaks have the first serve here. They're now on the left-hand side of your screen as the Warriors in their pink tops are on the other side. It's Herrera on the service. It's Berger who digs it. The set by Williams. Ashanti Grayer has to readjust and rallies it across to DiMartino. Dungo for Keika Woha. Her first attack of the second set is dug out by Jessica Williams. Ashanti Grayer on the other side of the floor, off the block up front and landing on the Menlo side. It just seems like right now there's a little bit of confusion out there for the Oaks. They don't seem to be set as often as we're accustomed to seeing. They just don't look like they're playing very confidently. Marlowe's service goes long. Nicole DiMartino almost touched it, but that's a service error, and we're now tied up at 1. And in a lot of ways, how similar is it to the way that Menlo College played against San Diego Christian? That happened in their last home game last Saturday afternoon against the Hawks. They dropped the first set and were down big in set number 2. Speaking of being down big, there's Taylor Jackie right through the middle. And again, Taylor Jackie comes in with that back row attack, and it has been absolutely lethal so far as Casey Berger will serve. Casey Berger's service is dug out by DiMartino. Waiting for it is Keika Woha, and sending it over Kristen Whitney. It's dug out by Williams. The bump set by Berger, and Taylor Jackie's got another kill. Good stuff from Taylor Jackie, who's hot tonight here in the second set, and it's 3-1. Warriors up again early in set number 2. There's the service. It's DiMartino, shanks the dig, and it's 4-1. And right now the Warriors are amped. They are amped not just on the court, but they are also trying to give a bad time to the Oaks men's volleyball players, and I think they might get some type of warning perhaps here. I don't know, two of our officials have come together. I don't know if they're talking about the play or if they're talking about the conversation on the side. I think that's what they're talking about over there. And it looks like it is. So that looks like it is the conversation. The men's volleyball team doing what typically the men's basketball team does here inside Haynes Prim. They stand in front of the bleachers over there in the corner, but they are being asked to be summoned to the bleachers. I don't make the rules. We just have to enforce them. So it's 4-1. The Warriors are up, and they'll have a service here with Berger once again. And Berger sends it to Herrera. It's Keika Woha, and now Whitney free balls it below the net, and it's 5-1. And again, very reminiscent of how the Oaks performed on Saturday against against San Diego Christian. And it's fitting. This is what we've come to expect, unfortunately, from the Oaks this season, as Keika Woha sends one that's blasted over, and she's going to get a kill. It's now 2 serving 5. And that's not to say anything bad. The Oaks have played very well this season, all season. That's why they're half a game out of first place. But they tend to have their poor performances on Saturdays. And you can go through every single week of the conference schedule, and that has been true. The second match of the week has been poor, as Vendela Williams comes down with a kill. And it's 6-2. I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning of the season. We'll take the first week out of it because the Oaks played Pacific Union and Simpson on the opening week, and I'm not really going to count those matches in. But go to the Warrior Invitational up in Rockland, where the Oaks had 4 matches across 2 days. They won a match on Friday as Kristen Whitney gets a kill, and it's now 3-6. They got swept on Saturday, dropping 3 to Oregon Tech and dropping in 4 to UC Merced, a team they beat just a couple of weeks prior. So that's instance number 1 of poorer play on a Saturday. As Taylor Jackie sends one over, that's dug out by Moya Kekawaha. Now her back row attempt is dug out by Marlowe. Witt for Vendela Williams. Was it deflected? Yes, it was. It's now 7-3. The following week was the first week of conference play. The Oaks beat Hope International in 4, then beat Life in 5. Probably shouldn't have taken them to 5. Next week, you beat San Diego Christian in 4. You lose to Vanguard in 5. Now, Vanguard is a tough team. There's no doubt about that. As Grayer touches one down that the Oaks somehow keep up. Schaefer rallies it across, punched in the air by Borges. And now Grayer is blocked. Jaden Scott sticks the arms in the air. That is a stuff. After that, swept Arizona Christian on a Friday, took OUAZ to 5, beat them there. You also have a 4-set win against Vanguard on a Friday, and then sloppy play early against San Diego Christian in an eventual 4-set win. It's just been Saturday struggles for the Oaks all season long, as Grayer sends one into the net, and now it's 5-7. So Janae Wooten goes back for another service as the Oaks try to turn around their Saturday slump. Knuckleball serve. Jackie Witt at the net. Almost made contact with it, and Ashanti Grayer sends one out of bounds. So just like that, the Oaks come right back, and they're down by 1. Grayer comes off, and Jasmine Pignon checks on for the first time. Pignon, a 5'9" sophomore out of Roseville, California. She's an outside hitter, and we're going to try to give Grayer a rest after a sloppy start to the second for her, as that attack goes long by Vendela Williams, and a pro move by Janae Wooten to watch that one go long. And after getting up again on an early rally, the Oaks have come back. They're on a 4-0 run of their own, and we're tied up at 7 here in set number 2. It's Janae Wooten. Topspin on the serve, a diving effort on the dig, and Vendela Williams slams one that hits off the net, and Schaefer got one over. The Oaks get the point. 5-0 run for Menlo. Confusion after that ball hit off the net on the Oaks side. It came to Schaefer, who rallied it across, and then the Warriors were just caught out of position as they tried to somehow free ball one. Here's Janae Wooten, who will serve it. She's been back for a nice little run. Sinker, angled towards the stands right there. Pignon to the center and punched over by Borges. Jaden Scott. 9-7, 6-0 run. And Tiger Shelton is ditching the jacket. I love it. He's been one of the more animated coaches we've seen on the sideline. He looks good in those jeans and that button-up, and now he sheds the jacket. It's Vendela Williams off the net. It landed, I think, inbounds, say the official. I thought it was out, but maybe there was a deflection that caused it to be that way. And the 6-0 run is over, and it's a 9-8 Menlo College lead, but they take the lead back. And here on the service is Cassidy Maw. It's Herrera. Dungo angles one for Jaden Scott, and she's got another kill. We like the way the Oaks have responded. I don't know what it is, but there are certain things that just trigger this Oaks team. They don't seem to drop back-to-back sets often. I don't have the numbers on that this season, but they just certainly have not dropped back-to-back sets often. And, I mean, I can just think about it right now, aside from, some sweeps early in the year, that just does not happen. Scott sips it over the net. From the back row, here comes Jackie, waits for it, and Wooten has a good dig. Dungo tried to swipe it over, and it went into the net. It's now 10-9. The Oaks have been swept just twice this season, both coming in the month of August, Northwest Christian and Oregon Tech. Interestingly enough, a majority of the Oaks matches this year have gone 4 sets. 8 of their 20 have gone to 4 sets, and 6 of their 20 have gone to 5 sets. We might be in for another long night here as we're tied up at 10. So the breakdown is 6 have gone 3, 8 have gone 4, and 6 have gone 5. We're used to it. We're used to the torture as that service error makes it 11-10 and breaks our 10-10 draw. So Luciana Herrera will serve it. Good stuff brewing here in set number 2 on Oktoberfest weekend. Leaping up in the air on the attack was Taylor Tarbell. We haven't called her name too often. The set, and this time it's for Borges. The Oaks keep it up. It's Keikawoha across the court. Diving effort by Berger. Right there is Jessica Williams, and Jackie goes from the back row and sends it long. And the Oaks are now up by 2. Herrera to the near side of the floor. Williams and Jackie pushes one over from the back row. Dungo for Keikawoha. She pushes it down, and it's now 13-10. And Tiger Shelton is not happy about something on the sidelines. I think it involves, well, I'm not really sure what it involves, to be honest with you, but the ball put into play, and now again they point over towards the bleachers. So the Oaks are up by 3. It's Luciana Herrera who has the serve. And it's dug out on a leaping dig by Pignon. They push it back for Pignon. Blocked out of bounds. 13-11. I don't know if anything's going to stop this crowd from having a good time tonight, especially if we see some good volleyball like there's been so far. It's Marlowe on the service. Herrera, Dungo for Keikawoha, and Moya Keikawoha goes up. We're used to that from Mo. She's been awfully effective in that area in her Menlo College career. She stands at 5'7", but she has some of the biggest ups of anybody we've ever seen. And the numbers are staggering. Over 800 career kills, over 1,200 career digs in a legendary 4-year career. One of the best Oaks to walk through the program, and she's got another. And the Oaks are building up a lead. It's 15-11 and a timeout called by the Warriors. Oaks up by 4. We'll be back on the Menlo College Sports Network. (15-11). The Oaks up here in set number 2, trying to even things up at 1 set apiece and ensure we go at least 4 tonight. It's Dungo slapping one on the service. It's Berger the dig from the back row. The set Taylor. Jackie comes in and she is blocked. Moya Keikawoha was right there. So too Abby Briggs and Kristen Whitney. Back-to-back big plays by Mo. And Dungo serves again. Just keep feeding her, man. Whatever you got to do. Tipped up front, there's Dungo. DiMartino bumps. There's Keikawoha. Was it tipped? It was. That is 4 consecutive points that Moya Keikawoha has accounted for. And it's 17-11. The Oaks are energized. The crowd is pumped. And all kinds of good stuff are happening right now. The service, Jackie Williams, quick set in the middle, and ending the run is Taylor Tarble. The sophomore out of Deer Park, Washington, makes it 17-12. And now on to serve is Casey Berger. Herrera, Dungo. For Whitney falling back, it was blocked, and there's DiMartino. Now it's Dungo. Angles one for Keikawoha, and she rolled it right over top of the block. That was easy for Moya Keikawoha. And it's 18-12. The Oaks are coming alive here in the second set. Keikawoha, dug out by Marlowe. Set, pushed over for Vendela Williams off the block. Schaefer right there, but her touch went out of bounds. And almost running into one of the referees was Moya Keikawoha. It's 18-13. As a substitution made for William Jessup with Jessica Williams off and Bran Witt on, so the setter switch. There's the service by Allison Borges. Service ace, 18-14. Another one for Borges. To the middle, Keikawoha. Dungo right at the net. 2 players meet. The ball goes back to the Menlo end. It's Whitney. Dungo now pushes over for Schaefer, who has to loft one over the block. It's Marlowe. Witt for Taylor Jackie. And here come the Warriors the other way. It's 18-15. Denise Sheldon wants a timeout with the Oaks up by 3 and trying to close out William Jessup here in set number 2. We'll be back on the Menlo College Sports Network. Three-point Menlo lead here, set number 2. Serving is Alicia Borges. 3-0 run for the Warriors, and it's sent into the net. 19-15. Abby Briggs serves it. Live update from Ryan Barnett, who I think is in Reno now, or maybe he's not, I'm not sure. He's unavailable tonight, by the way, and which is why I've called now 3 games tonight as the Warriors get a kill, making it 19-16. Keikawoha here in the second set. 6 kills, no errors after a slow start for her. The Oaks only have 1 error in the entire second set. Jackie's service, it's Keikawoha. To Herrera, Schaefer waits, Schaefer into the net. It's 19-17. Thanks, RB, for bringing up just 1 error, as that total has now doubled. We miss you, RB. Come back. Jackie, just over the net. Herrera, Dungo, angles a back set for Kristen Whitney. It's tipped and played by Jackie. Witt for Vendela Williams over the block. Keikawoha down low. Schaefer sends one behind her body for Whitney, and now Witt is there. Berger sets. Pignon out of bounds. It's 19-18. The ebbs and flows of tonight's match have been stunning. One side has the advantage, and then almost immediately it shifts the other direction. Oaks' lead has been cut to 1 as DiMartino comes on for Schaefer, and Pamela Dungo ran into the net, and we're tied up at 19. And it's just sloppy play for the Oaks that all of a sudden has come to life. It's reared its ugly head as Kekawoha can't dig that one. And in quite literally the blink of an eye, it's 20-19. The Warriors are out in front. This is an 8-1 run for Jessup to pull ahead by 1. No second timeout used by Denise Sheldon. Jackie serves. Kekawoha, another poor dig. Herrera retrieves it, and it's sent long by Kekawoha. Witt, the set for Vendela Williams. Dungo with a nice dig towards the table. DiMartino, and she can't save that one. It's now 21-19, and Denise Sheldon wants another timeout. Look at the Warriors. They're amped on their sideline. It's a 2-point William Jessup lead, and we'll be back on the Menlo College Sports Network. We are back from the timeout. It's 21-19. The Oaks are now out of timeouts. Warriors are on a heck of a run right now. It's a 9-1 run. Jackie serves. It's Herrera to Dungo. Kekawoha spins one across the net. That's played by Borges. Vendela Williams from the middle lands it in bounds. It's 22-19. Schaefer's going to come back on for DiMartino. Again, the Oaks had an 18-12 lead in this set. It has changed dramatically. Back to the net. Dungo. Jaden Scott gets up and lays it down. 22-20. The Oaks needed that. And while the Warriors only need 3 more points, there's still a long ways to go in this one. Janae Wooten will serve. Dribbles. Slaps it. Dugout. Witt sets. Vendela Williams over the block. Pancake by Wooten. Scott keeps it up. Back to the net. Witt slapped it over. Herrera got it, and then Kekawoha tried to lift it up, but she couldn't do so. That just didn't have a chance. Not to the fault of any person in particular. 23-20. Warriors 2 points away from closing it out. On the serve, Cassidy Maw. Error. And it's 23-21. So Nicole DiMartino serves it, and she'll need to go on a little bit of a run, otherwise the Warriors will have set point. She sends it long. And it's 24-21. The Oaks in danger of dropping the first 2 sets to their NorCal rival. It's Jessica Williams to serve it. Set point on the way. DiMartino is there. Dungo for Jaden Scott in the middle. Flipped it over to Jackie. Attack. Inbounds. The Warriors are up 2-0. 25-21. They take set number 2. And all the energy that was in this building has been sucked away after the Oaks are only able to gather 3 of the final 15 points in the second set. And now they trail 2-0. 5-set intermission. Will step aside with set number 3 as the Oaks look to try and climb the mountain all the way back. Maybe they'll go 5. You never know. This is the Menlo College Sports Network. Set number 2 about to get underway here on the Menlo College Sports Network as the Oaks find themselves trailing in this one. They are down 2-0, and they have a long road to try and climb if they wish to get back in this match. The Warriors are hot tonight, folks. They've got 28 kills on just 8 errors, and they're attacking at 27.8% overall. Not have a very good second set. 12 assists for Jessica Williams, 10 digs for Casey Berger. On the Menlo side, their attack percentage is up. It's now up to 18.1%. They had a better second set, but the wheels just completely fell off. 22 kills for the Oaks, 9 for Keikowoha to lead the way. Jaden Scott has 5. And now Pamela Dungo is just 10 assists away from tying the program record for assists in a Menlo College career. She has 20 assists through the first 2 sets of the night. No Oak in double figures yet when it comes to digs, though 8 apiece for Keikowoha and Luciana Herrera. So, we'll try to track that as best we can as we get going here tonight. And the men's basketball team has now made its presence felt, full of shirtless bodies and body paint. I see a P and an S. There's a K and an O with a smiley face. Are they trying to form the word spoke? I'm not sure. Spooky, that's what they're going for. Spooky. Okay. Oh, does Ross have season on his chest? Okay, so it's spooky season because it's just shy of Halloween. Dungo swipes one over the net, and now the crowd is fired up here for this third set. Jackie tips one off the net. Herrera readjusts. It's Schaefer who rallies one across. The set, the attack, the block, and Dungo right there to keep it up. It's Keikowoha for Schaefer. Block 0. Scott there. Dungo pushes for Schaefer. Schaefer, and it keeps, the Warriors keep it up in the air. It's Herrera, Jaden Scott. Yep, this place is going to get loud here in set number 3, regardless of whether the Oaks are ahead or behind. They get the first point here in set number 3. As Schaefer comes off and DiMartino comes on. Again, the Oaks have only been swept twice this season, so statistically speaking, the odds are not very good. Williams the set, and Borges lands one in the near side corner. As they try to take the wind out of the sails early here in set number 2. Probably won't work because any single time something good happens for the Oaks, this crowd will erupt. That's just what they do here in Atherton. Herrera, Dungo down to the ground, and Jaden Scott has to bump it over. Williams on the set, and the attack by Jackie was blocked up front by the Oaks. Jaden Scott, and it's sent over on a nice play by Borges. Just had to lift one over. Moya Keikowoha's right there, and it's 2-1. We've talked about it before. One of the unique features of Haynes Prim Pavilion is the kind of sunken gym feeling with the 4 corridors all around the gymnasium where you can stand and watch as well. Then you come down onto the hardwood. As Taylor Jackie's got a kill, and it's 2-2. And with the way that this place is built and the acoustics, and it gets very loud in here when it fills up, and certainly all the noise directed off to my left with the men's volleyball and men's basketball teams here. And of course the crowd's fired up for a little Oktoberfest dance tonight as Moya Keikowoha's got a kill, and it's 3-2. As I recall it, the dance doors close at 10, so as long as we don't play for 3 hours, we should be fine. Dungo will serve it to the back row. Vendela Williams goes cross court off of DiMartino, and it's tied at 3. Witt checks on for the Warriors, and going back to serve is Borges. And it's an interesting oddity this year for the homecoming dance. They're going silent disco. Moya Keikowoha off the block. It's 4-3, Oaks in front. What is a silent disco, you ask? Well, a silent disco is where upon entry into the quad, which is all tented out, you get I guess it's like a headset or headphones or something, hooked up to a controller that has what the DJ's playing. As Jackie's got another kill, and again, she opens up the third set the way she did in the second. She's hot. We're tied up at 4. And it's an interesting concept in that everyone's going to be able to hear the music at the volume that they want it to. It'll be weird because you won't hear anything else as Kristen Whitney's got a kill, and it's 5-4. You're wondering why that might be the case. It's an outdoor dance, and it always goes past the noise restriction set here in Atherton, California. Abby Briggs on the service. Witt bumps one on the run. Here comes Jackie. She is blocked. Oaks up by 2. Abby Briggs will serve. Dug out. Witt, the back set for Vendella Williams. Sends it long. Seven to 4, the Oaks are up. And looking for more here in set number 3. Again, they do not drop back-to-back often. They don't drop 3 very often. Service error by Briggs at 7-5. That's rare for Abby Briggs, who, as you saw, she was on Unrooted this week, and she talked about her recent success from the line, and it's been so incredible because she had, 22 service aces across 8 matches. She's only been serving for 8 matches, and she's already tied for the team lead in that department as the ball goes behind the Oaks bench. And now it's a 7-6 game here in the third set. And another serve on the way for Cassidy Maw. Maw's ready, sends it across. Dungo for Whitney, goes cross-court. It's dug out by Jackie. Witt sets from the back row. It was tipped. It was Borges who had the set. And blocked right to Luciana Herrera for Schaefer again. Schaefer off the block, punched in the sky by Borges. Witt runs over, and Jackie got it across. What a play by Jackie. Tipped over. Dungo's right there. Kekuoha waits for Whitney. Blocked back to the Menlo side. It's Dungo. Kekuoha back behind for Schaefer. What a way to get the 8th point in the third set. I'm not sure how Jackie got that one across, but Jackie did a great job. She was right by the ref stand and went all the way across the floor. It's 8-6. Wooten on the service. It's Witt, swipes it over right past Kekuoha, 8-7. And the Warriors fans that are here, they're trying to make a little bit of noise as well. William Jessup down by 1, 8-7. There's the service, into the net. So Nicole DiMartino checks on for Lauren Schaefer. Oaks up 9-7. DiMartino, Jackie digs it out. Jessica Williams right back for Jackie, and it was off the arm of Jaden Scott. And ricocheted down, 9-8. An interesting rivalry that these two programs have. Of course, they've been rivals in the GSAC now for, 4 or 5 years. But also they were rivals in the CalPAC well before then. So this Oaks Warriors rivalry has been going on for quite some time now. Kekuoha got another kill, and it's 10-8. It's been going on for so long that this is the 35th matchup all-time between these two programs. And the Oaks have won 32 of the first 34 matchups. Herrera, Dungo for Kekuoha, block 0. Right there, DiMartino. Dungo for Kekuoha again, lands that one inside. Oh wait, one of the officials is pointing in, and the other ones overrule her and say that went out. I beg your pardon. I was watching where the ball went, but instead it's 10-9 our score. The Oaks are not happy about that. I think more so their fans more than anything. There's the service over the net. DiMartino. Dungo for Keiko Woha. Off the block. Briggs punches it up. It's Wooten. Now for DiMartino. Just taps it over. And it's played. Williams for Jackie again. Tipped across and played by Wooten. Dungo for Briggs. Left-handed one over and punched in the air by Jackie. Another long rally in the making as Keiko Woha sends one to the middle. Jackie went down with one arm. Got it to Jessica Williams. Now rallied over by Jackie and out of bounds. So the Oaks will wind up getting that point right back. It's 11-9 as Kristen Whitney comes on for Janae Wooten. And Pamela Dungo goes back to serve. The only 2 times William Jessup has beaten Menlo College came on October 14th, 2017. That was the last time the Warriors had even taken a set from the Oaks before tonight. Vendela Williams got one across. Kristen Whitney is blocked. Oh, it lands on that side. Incredible. As the Oaks go up by 3, they have a 12-9 lead, and Tiger Shelton calls a timeout. We'll be back. Oaks up by 3 in set 3 as they try to stay alive. It's a fun night inside Haynes Prim Pavilion. 12-9. The Oaks have a 3rd set lead, but the Warriors have a 2-set-to-none advantage overall. Pamela Dungo goes back to serve it once more for the Oaks, who have pulled up by 3 for the first time in this set. Back to the net, bumped up in the air by Briggs, and it's still alive on the Menlo side. DiMartino there for Keiko Woha, slapped it over and lands it inbounds. 13-9. The only time the Warriors have gone into Menlo and picked up a win came in 2010, a William Jessup sweep in a very interesting statistical night. I tracked some of the numbers from that, and it was pretty remarkable as the Oaks tried to block the Warriors. It didn't work. They keep it up. It's Jackie through the block, lands it inbounds, and the Warriors get a much-needed point, 13-10. Gianna Foster had 9 kills and Brittany Malone had 7 kills for the Warriors, but that's not really impressive totals. They had 27 blocks on the night. Moya Keikowoha over the block. It's 14-10. They only had 7 attack errors as well, while Menlo had 26 that night. That fateful night on October 10, 2010. The Warriors improved to 4-0 in CalPAC play at that point, though they only had a handful of wins overall in the season. I think that was their 6th win of that year. Rallied long to Herrera. Dungo there, pushes all the way over for Schaefer, winds up, lets it fly, but Marlowe had a dig. Witt falls on the set, but it's over the net anyways. Herrera, Dungo, back set, Whitney through the middle, Marlowe another sliding dig. Witt this time upright to Jackie, into the net, it never got over, 4 touches. (15-10), the Oaks are up, but remember what happened in set 2. The Oaks had an 18-12 lead, ultimately dropping the set 25-21. A 12-3 run the Warriors closed it out on. Back to the net for Witt. Vendela Williams tapped it over, touched by Schaefer. Briggs bumps, Schaefer goes cross court, and it's just wide of the white. 15-11, not sure what I was trying to say there. As Taylor Jackie goes back for another service. One of the most dominant players in the GSAC on all fronts, and she's got a service ace right there, making it 15-12, and don't give the Warriors any room to run because they will do just that. Ashanti Grayer is going to check back on, and she replaces Jasmine Pignon. I'm surprised that Grayer has not seen action in well over one set now. She was hot in the first set, struggled in set number 2, and the Oaks get it across on 3 touches. Grayer's blocked, it goes out of bounds. The Warriors take it anyways. But Herrera to Kekewoha, then to Dungo. I don't know how they got that one up in the air. But now they're only down by 2. Are the Warriors, that is. Service error, 16-13. Boy, the Oaks needed that. Here's Abby Briggs to serve it away. Witt, Vendella Williams again. She has been awfully impressive tonight when she goes up and absolutely obliterates the ball. Between her and Taylor Jackie, you can tell why the attack is so top-heavy on this Jessup squad. Herrera, Dungo off the antenna. Whitney touched it, and it's now 16-15, a one-point game. And Denise Sheldon asking about the timeout situation. She's going to take one right now as the Oaks, no, she won't, I beg your pardon. Could have swore she was ready for one right there, but instead Schaefer comes off, DiMartino comes back on. Often when the Oaks struggle, that's a move they like to try and do, flip-flop the 2 defensively. Kekewoha the dig, and now they'll give DiMartino a swing, and she's got a kill! Nicole DiMartino doesn't get the chance to swing often anymore for someone who's listed on the roster as an outside hitter, but she did right there and came up with a big kill to put the Oaks up by 2. It's 17-15. Here's Janae Wooten. Jackie digs. Witt sets. Grayer swings. Dungo keeps it up at the net. DiMartino slaps it over, and there's Jackie from the back row. Witt for a back row attack by Jackie. Off the net, Herrera right there. Dungo swipes it over, popped up in the air, bumped by Witt. It'll be met at the net by Jaden Scott, and the Warriors are going to keep it up, though the Oaks fans aren't happy about the call. Jaden Scott flips it over, and the Oaks will get the point regardless. (18-15) is our score. The Oaks are up by 3. Sinker! Janae Wooten's got an ace. It's 19-15. And a timeout called by William Jessup. Oaks are alive and well in set number 3. Can they take a set? We'll be back on the Menlo College Sports Network. It's 19-15. The Oaks are up by 4, and they're trying to do whatever they can to take a set from the Warriors and extend this thing just a little bit longer. And at this point, why the heck not? Janae Wooten will serve it again. The Oaks, a little 3-0 run. There it is over the net. Jackie for Witt. Ashanti Grayer lands one inbounds. Kekewoha let that one go. The Oaks fans are trying to clamor that maybe that wasn't the case, but no, that was ruled correctly and inbounds. Well called by our officials crew tonight. As Jessica Williams serves it, it's Wooten. On the dig, Dungo pushes over for DiMartino. What a block up front! It was Taylor Tarble. Again, we haven't called her name too often here tonight, but Tarble got right up there, and now the Oaks will call a timeout. They want to try and seize the advantage and the momentum in any way they can. So 19-17, Oaks call their first timeout, and we'll be back on the Menlo College Sports Network. It's a 2-point Menlo lead. The Warriors have some momentum. The Oaks fans trying to make it not so. Jaden Scott is blocked. Dungo goes down low to receive it. Kekawaha sets Jaden Scott again. Tipped up front, some confusion, but the Warriors will send it across by Grayer. Right there, DiMartino. Dungo for Jaden Scott. Swats it over. Dungo keeps it up. It's Kekawaha. Rallies back behind for DiMartino. Falling backwards. Grayer falls down on a dig. And DiMartino's got another kill here in the third set. Grayer tried to shovel that one up in the air, and she kind of slipped as she did so. And the Oaks have won the race to 20. They have not done that yet tonight. That is significant. DiMartino, dug out by Berger. Williams, slapped off the net and played by Herrera. Dungo for Kekawaha. It's blocked, but the Oaks have it. It's Dungo, pushes it across, and right there is Berger to hop up in the air. Jackie from the back row, flipped it over. Wooten lets it go, and it goes out of bounds. Oh, that was so close to Janae Wooten touching it. And it was right here in front of us, and I have no idea how she didn't. But Pamela Dungo at the last second told her, don't go after it, and somehow Janae Wooten hurt her. DiMartino service error, 21-18. Oaks still have the 3-point lead. Trying to force a set number 4 inside a rowdy Haynes Prim on Oktoberfest weekend as we close out the festivities. It's Madison Marlowe. Herrera lets it go. It was inbounds. It's 21-19. Madison Marlowe lands another ace inbounds. She has 9 on the year. Kekawaha, Dungo for Jaden Scott, rolling out on the opposite that time. It's kept up by the Warriors. Borges through the middle, and right there is Wooten. Dungo for Kekawaha, flipped it to the back row. One-armed by Marlowe. Jackie sets, Borges swings, and Wooten has another good dig. Kekawaha right at the face of Jessica Williams. Oaks fans like that one as Luciana Herrera goes back. Serves it to Berger. Oaks up by 3. Jackie swings. Herrera's right there. Look out. Wooten keeps it up by the table, and Herrera gets it across. Berger, back set. Williams blocked. Borges keeps it up. Bumped by Williams. Here comes Jackie cross court. Mo does the splits, and she's got it again. Mo slaps it in deep. There's Marlowe. Williams the set. Jackie swings, blocked by Briggs. Punched up in the air by Berger. Warriors on a third touch. It's Williams slapping it to Wooten. Dungo for Abby Briggs. Tips it to the corner. Berger's right there. Williams for Jackie. Tipped up front. Herrera can't keep it off the hardwood. 22-20. The Warriors win the long rally, and it all started with a great effort by Janae Wooten, right over by our statistician Aaron Gillespie. Made a nice play on it. And Herrera was able to rally it from the center over the net. But it's now a 22-20 third set. Here's Berger on the serve. It's long. 23-20. The Oaks will send in some subs. Pamela Dungo will serve it. Whitney and DiMartino are coming on. Wooten and Schaefer are coming off. If the Oaks can take this third set, it's got to start creeping into the back of your mind, right? Dungo, just over the net. Williams for Williams. Jessica to Vandella. They hook up and it's 23-21. Warriors back within 2. Tiger Shelton screaming words of encouragement at Alicia Borges. He's been fired up all night, trying to get his troops back in it. Over the net, it's Kekawoha. Dungo, back set, Kekawoha, and a nice sliding dig to her left. Marlowe went there. Jackie off the block, out of bounds, 23-22. If you're listening tonight, or you're inside Haynes Prim and you're not nervous, you ain't living. Timeout called by the Oaks. We'll be back on the Menlo College Sports Network. It's 23-22. It's become a 1-point set in set number 3. Warriors trying to pull even. Here's the service. It's Kekawoha. Dungo for Mo again. Marlowe keeps it up in the air. Jackie falls backwards. Herrera, great dig. Dungo for Kristen Whitney, goes cross court. Right there is Witt on the dig. That's tough to say sometimes. It's blocked. There's Dungo. Now for DiMartino. Bumps one behind for Kekawoha, and Marlowe stands tall on the dig. For Jackie, blocked by Whitney. It goes outside the antenna. It's 24-22. Moya Kekawoha goes back to serve set point. And if they get this point, Haynes Prim will absolutely erupt. Berger for Witt. Vandella Williams sucks the life out of the place for now. It's 24-23. Ashanti Grayer is on for Marlowe. Taylor Jackie goes back to serve. The Warriors have to get this point to stay alive in set 3. Herrera, Dungo, Abby Briggs! Do not count this team out. The Oaks take set number 3, 25-23, which means we ain't done yet. More volleyball coming up after the intermission on the Menlo College Sports Network.
Just more than one more line. If I tell
Welcome back inside Haynes Prim Pavilion as we get you ready for set number 4. The Oaks have come back from a 2-0 deficit to make it 2-1, and they've sent Haynes Prim into a state of elation. Brian Brownfield with you here, and we welcome you in from wherever you're tuned in, including the 406. What's up, Montana? The Oaks fans are alive and well, and for good reason. Moya Keikawoha now has 16 kills tonight with just 5 errors, and she's swinging at nearly 23%. Pamela Dungo has now set the Menlo College all-time assist record. She has 31 assists. So now in her illustrious Menlo College career, she's at 1,496 assists. That number is good for one more than Kelly Sung in her 2-year total from 2013 to 2014. A situation to monitor. I'm only bringing it up because it's worth pointing out. Those fans that are over there, they've congregated in the corner. They're all student athletes. They are a rowdy bunch, and the Warriors are now back on that end of the floor. They're on the right-hand side if you watch it. The Oaks are on the left-hand side. So that's something to monitor as we continue here in set number 4 as the Oaks are trying to advance to a 5th set. It would be the 7th time this year they go to 7. And already we have a conversation with our officials about, I think, the crowd situation over there. They were told originally to be in a controlled area, and they seem to have, I guess in the eyes of the officials, they seem to have left that area, though they are not on the court. So I can safely say they're not in the way. As we get ready, and Janae Wooten will serve it first. Berger on the dig. Jessica Williams for Borges. It's blocked. And keeping it up is Berger. Now sent across, and Wooten is right there. For Dungo, Lauren Schaefer to the middle. That's going to land. One nothing. The Oaks up first. It's Janae Wooten having the serve again. Dug out. Williams for Borges into the net. And a timeout has been called. I think they got a timeout against William Jessup. I'm not quite sure what just happened. And I think they've just issued Menlo a yellow card. No, they've come over and they've said that the crowd has to get under control. They're not playing. So that's the situation, as it's gotten a little too rowdy here inside Haynes Prim Pavilion. They've ushered the players off the floor. And if they do not quiet down and get back into their seats, we will not continue. Well, I can safely say that this is the first time I've ever experienced this in my Menlo College career, where it's been, I don't want to say this bad. I think the issue is not that they are too loud per se. I think the issue is that they are just coming out from the bleachers and onto the floor. Now, they're not on the court. That's not the issue. They are not on the court. The problem is that they have come down from the first row of the bleachers, and that is causing them some trouble. So that's where we stand as we wait for the crowd to get under control, and they certainly won't like that, but this is where we're at here in the 4th set. They seem to have gathered back into the bleachers, and I'm honestly not sure why we aren't continuing at this point. Our officials came over and said we will not continue until it is under control, but I don't know what they're waiting on at this point. And I can imagine that the longer this goes on, the worse it will get for Menlo, and I fear what could potentially happen in the event that the officials just decide to toss their hands up in the air and say, we're not playing anymore. Denise Sheldon, head coach of the Oaks, has now gone over and she has hushed the crowd as she informs them of the situation and the severity in which we are dealing with. Now they're all cheering Denise Sheldon, and perhaps a message was sent home by Coach Denise. All right. So Janae Wooten will serve it. Folks, I don't know if I've ever heard it this loud in here. And this place is not full to capacity either. Wooten serves, it's dug out. There's Williams, Ashanti Grayer from the middle. Kekawoha digs it out, it's over by the ref stand. Another one for Grayer, it's wide, it's 3-0 Menlo. I told you that when we went to this fourth set, that would be a conversation and a situation worth monitoring, the fan situation on that side, because the Warriors took exception to it in set number 2, and they were not happy to go back to that end here in the fourth set. I'm just trying to point out facts here. That's what I got to do. As Pignon comes on and she lights up the Warriors side with a kill. Well, through conversation with Dave Rosenthal, who's a broadcaster up in the Jessup area, does a lot of Jessup games on their broadcast and as their public address announcer, he informed me of an interesting statistic, or not really a statistic, but a factoid, as that one sent into the net by Alicia Borges, and it's worth repeating. Earlier this season, on the 5th of October, so just a couple of weekends ago, the Warriors, William Jessup took Westmont to 5 sets, after the Oaks did the same thing the night before. The difference was that William Jessup won the first 2 sets. Herrera has the dig. It's Dungo for Kekawoha. Blocked down on the reject. Right there was Taylor Tarbell. A little block there. Maybe you'll give an assist to Alicia Borges, and it's 4-2. The Oaks still up by 2. And so this is not uncharted territory if the Warriors start to perhaps slip a little bit here in the fourth set. Not trying to foreshadow, but it's happened this year as Alicia Borges has a kill, and it's 4-3. So Casey Berger goes back, and she lines it up, lets it go, dug out. Dungo swipes it over, goes right back to the net. Vendela Williams on the bump. Jackie free balls it over. There's DiMartino. It's Dungo. Back set, Jaden Scott lands it inbounds. You know, even though it's 5-3 here in the fourth set, it's kind of hard not to get amped when Haynes Prim is just electric tonight. This is easily the best atmosphere we've had all year. I know there have been some problems, but this has certainly been a whole heck of a lot of fun as Vendela Williams. We got to call Vendela the silencer, because that's what she does. She goes up and she throws down. My goodness. It's 5-4. And Alicia Borges serves, the Vacaville native. To the middle for Herrera. Dungo, back set for Kekawoha. Roll shot! 6-4. Oaks back up by 2. On a little Saturday night volleyball here inside Haynes Prim. We have not had many of these this year. And usually it's just Oktoberfest weekend in which that comes to be. Dug out by Berger. There's the set by Witt, and slipping was Vendela Williams. She was the one set to take that attack, but it's over. Whitney, and down low goes Marlowe. Jackie comes on, rolls it over, and it's played by Kekawoha. Now on her attack, Marlowe can't handle it. They'll mop up the spot where Vendela Williams went down. She was not slow to get up, but she was just a little surprised, I think. I'm not quite sure what that was that she ran right into, but regardless, 7-4, the Oaks are up. and Pamela Dungo serves it. There's the service. A lollipop, Berger down low, Witt's there, Vendela Williams angles one to DiMartino. Now it's Dungo for Abby Briggs in the middle, and it's played by Alicia Borges. Attack by Jackie off the net, they say it was a block. Witt swipes it over, there's Dungo. DiMartino bumps one over for Whitney, and hopping in the air is Berger. Jackie to the middle, DiMartino got low for a dig. Herrera by the bleachers, has it, Dungo, got it over. There's Witt. Vendela Williams is blocked. Marlowe keeps it up for the Warriors. Jackie across. There's DiMartino. Dungo for Kekawaha. Blocked. Herrera keeps it up. Dungo on the Menlo side for Kekawaha. Rolls it down. Oh, this is a fun night. Here comes Pamela Dungo to do it again. The all-time assist leader in Menlo College history. No Oak has more. She's got a dig there. DiMartino for Kekawaha. Over the block. Marlowe cuts off Berger. Witt pushes all the way over for Jackie. And they get the kill. It landed right in front of Kristen Whitney, who tried to block it. That'll bring on Jasmine Pignon onto the floor, and it will also bring Taylor Jackie back to the line to serve. Another wet spot on the floor, as our longtime public address announcer Matt Hurwitz would say, timeout on the floor for perspiration absorption. Jackie will serve it. Herrera, Dungo for Kristen Whitney. Oh, yes. You don't see Kristen Whitney come through with a lot of aggressive swings, but she really seemed to wind up a little extra hard on that one. Some extra velocity, making it 9-5. Here comes Kekawaha again on the service. Borges, Witt, over for Pignon. Got it over the block, but out of bounds. And the Oaks have doubled up on the Warriors early in set number 4, and everything is going their way right now. But again, they got off to a good start in set 2 and lost. They got off to a good start in set 3 and held on. That's important to point out at this juncture. As Pignon is blocked by Whitney, but it's kept up for the Warriors. Jackie from the back row. Herrera, great dig. Whitney's there, and Briggs just rallies it across over her shoulder. Witt back set for Vendela Williams, and that never stood a chance. It's 11-5. The Oaks are up in set number 4. Kekawaha on the serve. It's Jackie. Witt goes all the way over for Ashanti Greer. Herrera goes down low. There's Dungo, and it's rallied across by Herrera. At the net, Witt with a back set, and nobody is home. Tiger Shelton is not happy. He calls a timeout. The Oaks are up 12-7, and listen to the crowd as we step aside on the Menlo College Sports Network. 12-5, all Oaks here in set number 4 as they look to try and force a set number 5 yet again. It's the classic thing that this Oaks team always does. Kekawoha will serve it. She's on a run. There it is. It's a cross. Jackie from down low. Berger runs to keep it up, and it's punched across by Borges. Dungo, the back set for Kristen Whitney. That one lands just long, and a point for the Warriors coming off the timeout. It's 12-6. I mention it seemingly every single broadcast, but it seems like every single time a coach calls a timeout, it immediately pays dividends. I don't know the science behind why, but it just happens as Abby Briggs has a slam. (13-6). And Abby Briggs, you make a play, you go back to serve. Right into the net. It's been an off night for Abby Briggs from the line. Very surprised to say that, because so often this season we're accustomed to seeing her just, absolutely level people with her serves, but not the case tonight. 3 service errors for her. A little favor returned there, however, by Jessica Williams as she sent one to the corner. And now it's 14-7. Janae Wooten will serve it for the Oaks. A knuckleball. Williams all the way over for Borges, and right there is Herrera. Kekawoha waiting for Schaefer, and Schaefer blasts it across. Ashanti Greer tipped up front. Wooten goes down low. Nice dig, but it goes outside the antenna, and it's 14-8. No cause for panic just yet on the Menlo side. They still have a 6-point lead, but certainly the second set has to be creeping up in the back of their minds as Madison Marlowe serves to Herrera. Dungo, Lauren Schaefer off the block, and Lauren Schaefer's got a swing and a kill. And a 15-8 Menlo College advantage. Nicole DiMartino goes back to serve, one of the seniors on this team. There's just 4 for Menlo College this year. Jackie off the side of the head of DiMartino, I think, on that dig. Dome shot, 15-9. For this year's senior class, you have, of course, Emily Sonata, Nicole DiMartino, Moya Kekawoha, and Pamela Dungo. Sonata inactive this season due to injury, but still playing a large role as kind of a de facto assistant coach on the squad as Wooten is there. Bumped up right to center court for Kekawoha, and she's blocked. DiMartino went down low to receive it. Dungo for Kekawoha again, and Marlowe moves to her right. She's got it. Slapped over by Borges, and Herrera had a good dig. Bumped by DiMartino along the sideline, and right there, Kekawoha sent it across back to the net, met by a couple players. Whistle blows. Oaks get the point. Vandella Williams called for the violation going over the net. It's 16-9 our score. And Tiger Shelton wants to see how many timeouts he has. He's going to use one right now. The Oaks are up by 7 and trying to force a set number 5. Wouldn't that be fitting? As we step aside on the Menlo College Sports Network. (16-9). The Oaks are out in front. fans continue to file in from all corners of the pavilion. It's almost time for the silent disco in the quad. But the Oaks are up by 7 and trying to extend the night to 5 sets. There's the service. Williams for Vendela Williams, and DiMartino got over to make the nice dig. Kekuoha is rejected, but out of bounds. It was Borges and Vendela Williams trying to team up on the block, and it went out. And it's now 17-9 as the Oaks continue to scratch and claw and try to climb back up the mountain. Herrera, sinker ball that's dug out. It was Jackie on the dig and then Jackie on the swing. Abby Briggs. Somehow the Warriors got that across. That was touched by a few players, it looked like. But the Oaks get the point anyways as the attack goes out of bounds. It's now 18-9. The Oaks have doubled up on Jessup late now in set number 4. A substitution is made as Borges comes off, and Lori Stephen checks on for the first time tonight. Stephen, a junior out of Grand Prairie, Texas. The only Texas native on this team. And I want to kind of almost say that there's 2 Texas natives. The other one inactive tonight, but she went to a school in Texas. As Kekuoha blocks one, but it goes out of bounds. That's Hannah Henriksen, who's not active tonight. I'm not quite sure the reason why she's inactive, but she's a 6'3" outside hitter, a native of Bakersfield, and a transfer from Texas Tech. Yeah, she played there in 2016 and had 104 kills, 14 blocks, and had the season high for kills in a match for Texas Tech against Rice. She had 19 in one match. DiMartino can't dig that one up, and it's 18-11. So it's now a 7-point match, and Henriksen this season entered tonight the second leading attacker on the team. 174 kills and also a percentage of 21.9%, second best on the Warriors in that department as Briggs sends one into the net, and now it's 18-13, or 18-12, excuse me. I looked up at the scoreboard and it had already been changed. Lauren Schaefer will check on for Nicole DiMartino, the usual substitution for the Oaks. Menlo still needs 7 more points to try and force the 5th set. Borges had the service. Schaefer waits for it. Schaefer slaps it over. It's Witt for Vendela Williams, and Schaefer goes down for a tough dig. There's Abby Briggs, the swing and the block up front. It's kept up on the Warriors' side. Jackie off the net. Kekuoha down low. Dungo right back for Kekuoha. She's blocked. Oaks have it. It's Dungo swiping it over, and right there is Berger. Marlowe for Jackie. Another great dig by Kekuoha. They feed her again, and it rolls off the net. Briggs can't keep it up, and it's 18-13. Suddenly a 4-0 run for the Warriors, who are down by 9, but they're now down by 5, and so Denise Sheldon will call a timeout. Oaks up 18-13 in set number 4 when we come back on the Menlo College Sports Network. It's 18-13. The Oaks are in front here in set 4. They trail 2-1 overall. Looking to go the distance for the 7th time this season in 21 matches. Tickered off the net. Dungo keeps it up. There's Schaefer, and Kekuoha rolls it over the net. What a play by Dungo, and almost a block. It goes out of bounds, and the Oaks have a 19-13 lead. Leading the charge up front, Kekuoha was all over it, and somehow, off of 3 quick touches by the Warriors, it accidentally went over. I mean, obviously the goal is to get it over in 3 touches, but they weren't trying to do it in that fashion. and it went wide, and it's 19-13. There's Dungo just over the net with a side spin. It's Witt waiting for it. It's Jackie, and Keiko'oha's right there to receive it. Dungo for Whitney straight into the net. She went with that open hand, soft touch look, trying to go with the fingertips to just tip it over, and she was just a bit off target. It's 19-14. Now it's Taylor Jackie to Herrera. Dungo for Abby Briggs, lofted it over the block, but the Warriors have it. Jackie from the back row, and it's too strong. It's 20-14. Moya Keiko'oha to do it again. Witt, Vandella Williams, a.k.a. the silencer. Boy, has she been something tonight. She checks off, and her teammates are mobbing her. Here's Cassidy Ma on the service. It's Keiko'oha for Dungo. Now Lauren Schaefer, blocked off the pole, outside the antenna, and it's 21-15. The Oaks need 4. Abby Briggs will serve it. This would be a great time for one of her patented runs. Jackie Witt all the way over for Ashanti Grayer, and Ashanti Grayer splits the difference between Briggs and Keiko'oha and makes it 21-16. Once again at 5 points. There's the service. Out of bounds, another service error. (22-16), and Janae Wooten will serve. Berger, a diving dig, cutting off Ashanti Grayer. Jackie sends one across to Keiko'oha. Mo top spins it over. Right there is Jessica Williams. Bumped by Berger. Waiting for it, and on the attack was Stephen. Schaefer blocked by Stephen. Jaden Scott right there, and her attack errant. No deflection called. It's 22-17. Marlowe angles one to Keiko'oha on the service. Dungo for Schaefer. She's blocked right there. Dungo. Moya swipes it over. You don't see that every day from Mo when she goes to set. There's Jackie. That never had a chance. It went long towards the Oaks bench. 23-17. Nicole DiMartino on for Schaefer. And the Oaks can start to feel it. To the back row. Jessica Williams to Steven, and it's over to Wooten. Dungo bumps. Scott tapped over. Right there, Steven again. Jessica Williams all the way to the center for Jackie, and the Oaks can't keep it up. I don't know what happened there, but somehow it just fell. The Oaks just didn't communicate on that one. There's the serve. It's to Herrera. Dungo for Keiko'oha to the back row, and that's long. And it's now 23-19, a 4-point match. Berger serves. Herrera, Dungo for Jaden Scott into the net, 23-20. Denise Sheldon is softly sauntering over, and she will call a timeout. With the Oaks up by 3 and trying to extend the night a little bit longer. We'll be back on the Menlo College Sports Network. 23-20. Casey Berger on to serve it. Oaks up by 3. It's Kekawoha. For DiMartino, a bump back to center for Kekawoha, and it goes too far, and it's 23-21. The Oaks just can't make things easy right now. As Berger serves it again near side right by those fans. Herrera fans on it, and it's 23-22. This is now, if I am recalling correctly, a 6-0 run here for William Jessup to have made this a 1-point fourth set. Berger, Herrera, better dig. Dungo for Jaden Scott. There we go. It's 24-22. Luciana Herrera can send us to a fifth set after the Oaks were down 0-2. Jackie on the dig. Jessica Williams for Vendella Williams. It's blocked off the net. And the Warriors stay alive for now. It's 24-23. Just as we were in set 3, the Oaks had a 24-22 advantage, and then that happened. And now Nicole DiMartino will check on for Lauren Schaefer. Tasked with keeping this one afloat is Alicia Borges. Herrera, Dungo at the net. It went over on the bump. Witt sets for Vendella Williams, and Herrera was right there. Dungo back over the net. Witt slapped it to Janae Wooten. Moya Kekawoha has sent us to 5. This team does not quit. And for the 7th time this season, in 21 tries, the Menlo College women's volleyball team is going to a 5th set. We'll step aside and come back for the final set of the night on the Menlo College Sports Network. Well, we are just about set for the 5th and final set of the night. That we do know. We just don't know how it's going to end, as the Oaks have tied this thing up after being down 0-2. They come back and they take set 3, 25-23, and they take set 4 by the exact same margin. The Oaks in 5 sets this season are 3-3. Most recently losing to UC Santa Cruz just the other night on Wednesday in Santa Cruz. They've lost their last 2 in 5 sets, going all the way back to Westmont College on Friday, October 4th. But with the way the Oaks are feeling on their side and the way that the fans are in the stands, they seem to have no doubt about the outcome of this fifth set. But William Jessup has scratched and clawed, and you have to give them all kinds of credit. I know that they have been down big in each of the 2 sets that they've dropped, the third and the fourth, but despite that, they have still managed to make it a 1-point match at 24-23 every single time. And now we played a 15. That's all it will take to determine a winner. Once a team reaches 8, the 2 sides will switch. So the Oaks are currently off on the right-hand side, which means they'll have the home crowd on their end to wrap it up. Janae Wooten will serve first. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. It's Berger for Jessica Williams to Ashanti Greer, and Jaden Scott says no. One nothing, the Oaks up first. Janae Wooten to serve. Jackie. Jessica Williams bumps back for Greer. Over the block this time, Herrera, good dig. Dungo for Jaden Scott. Back to the net. Tipped over the block, and then Moya Kekawoha sent the ball straight up into the chin of Jaden Scott. And we're tied up at 1. Madison Marlowe will serve it. And she'll take it from the near side of the floor. Runs up, spins it over. Herrera on the dig. Dungo pushes all the way over for Schaefer. Rolled it over the block. Down low, Jackie on a nice dig. And Berger will just swing it across. Herrera, Dungo for Jaden Scott. Off the net, 2 touches, I think. It doesn't matter, hit the floor. And it's 2-1. Nicole DiMartino comes on for Lauren Schaefer. And Moya Kekawoha will clean up the floor. There were a couple of Oaks that were down at various points. Just making sure everything is nice and clean on the Menlo side. They lead 2-1 in the 5th. Marlowe for Jessica Williams. Jackie winds up and she's blocked. It's back to the Warriors side. Here comes Borges, she's blocked. And Jackie bumps it up to the sky, and Herrera handles the dig. Dungo and Kekawoha ran into the net. They didn't call that, but then the ball fell on the Menlo side anyways, and that ties us up at 2. I'm making this statement now, 4 points into the 5th set, but wouldn't it just be like poetic justice if this thing went bonus points? Probably. Dungo. Kekawoha spun it over, and right there was Jessica Williams. Bumped by Berger. Slapped in deep by Jackie, and it went long. No, now the official changes her mind and says it's in. And now the officials will come together and talk about this. The initial call was that it was out, point Menlo, and then the same official changed her mind. It's a point for the Warriors. So Jessup takes their first lead here in set number 5. They have a 3-2 advantage. And Casey Berger will serve it for the second consecutive time to Kekawoha. Dungo for Jaden Scott into the net, and it's 4-2. Berger on the serve. Kekawoha, DiMartino, and Mo just rallies it across. And I don't know what just happened, but it ends in a point for the Oaks. Jessica Williams and Vandilla Williams were right there, and they just let it fall between them. And I'm still having a hard time comprehending how that happened. Luciana Herrera ready to serve, waiting for a go-ahead from the officials. Oaks down 1. Marlowe. Williams for Jackie. Off the block and out of bounds. And it's 5-3. William Jessup back up by 2. DiMartino for Kekawoha, waits for it and got it over to Berger. It's Witt, Jackie again, and somehow kept off the hardwood by Herrera. Kekawoha was the one who swiped it across, and Briggs rejects. That's what Abby Briggs does so darn well at the middle blocker position. Came into tonight with 42 total blocks on the season and gets another big one right there. The Oaks back within one. Down 5-4 here in the fifth set. We played a 15. Pamela Dungo to Berger. It's Witt waiting for it. Jackie, and again Herrera kept it off the hardwood. It's Kekawoha on the attack. Witt, Vandella Williams over the block. Dungo down low. DiMartino waits. Behind the back bump for Kekawoha, and down low Marlowe on the other side. Jackie from the middle, and it went off of Whitney. And when you get into these situations here in the fifth set, it's a battle of the best players. And it looks like the Oaks are going to make this an effort to go Jackie against Briggs, or excuse me, Jackie against Kekawoha. I was thinking of the Briggs block, as Tiger Shelton has come over once again to the officials and he's having a word with something. Now the fans are not on the floor. There are two Menlo staff members who are on the sideline directly in front of those fans. There are two of them right there. They're not on the floor. But Tiger Shelton, I think, is doing anything possible at this juncture in the game to try and silence the crowd, to maybe perhaps, I don't know if there was a caution given earlier to the Oaks or not, but maybe just try to just do what he can to derail a little bit of the Oaks' momentum. Whatever happened there, it didn't work. He just wanted a conversation. And now we're ready to go as Jackie will serve it. Kekawoha to Dungo for Abby Briggs, and she sends it long. And it's now 7-4. And that works to perfection for Coach Tiger Shelton and what he wants to do. And now a timeout has been called by the Oaks. Menlo down 7-4, but not out just yet. Fifth set. We'll be back on the Menlo College Sports Network. Fifth set action inside Haynes Prim Pavilion. It's 7-4. William Jessup up. They won the first two sets. Menlo took the second pair of sets. And now the Oaks are trying to come back again in the fifth. Taylor Jackie serves it right to Herrera. Dungo for Kekawoha. Tipped it to the center of the floor. Jackie with a heroic dig on the dive. And it's sent across by Berger. Dungo for Kekawoha again, blocked or dug out all the way back to the other side. Dungo bumps it up for Kekawoha, and amongst all the confusion, Berger got it across. It was Ashanti Grayer with the pancake. Whitney tried an attack. That didn't work. Vandella Williams off the net. I was about as sure as everybody that the Oaks were going to get that point before Grayer dug that one out. That was incredible. 7-5, Oaks down 2. Kekawoha serves it. There's Witt into the center for Vandella Williams, and Kekawoha plays it. Abby Briggs in the middle, punched, rolls off the top of the net, and Witt has it. Berger rallies it to the corner. Herrera, Dungo, back set. Whitney tipped it across the floor to Witt. Berger for Grayer at the net, blocked, one touch. Dungo keeps it up, and Kekawoha slaps it over, and Tiger Shelton has thrown his hat. He is hot on the sideline. It's Schaefer right there for Dungo, to Schaefer again, flipped out of bounds it goes. And I think it's 8-7. I think that's what they're 8-5. I think that's what they ruled. Denise Sheldon is not happy. I think she wanted a deflection. Yeah, that's what she's asking for right now. And now the Oaks are having a conversation with Ray Mink, who's working the stand tonight. The two sides are not yet being summoned to switch directions, despite this being the 8th point, because now we're talking about what just happened. All 4 officials are congregating together. I have no idea whether a replay might be an option here, and by replay I mean a redo of the point, not a replay of the play, and it will stand as called. So it's 8-5 here in the 5th set. The team switched directions. The Oaks will now have the home crowd on their side, and we'll see if they can channel this into some type of extra motivation to come back and somehow take this thing. But they're going to have to get 10 points. Dungo for Kristen Whitney. That's a good start. Six serving, 8, Abby Briggs comes on. It's Briggs. Into the top of the net, and again, it's been a rough night for her from the line. 4 errors in 5 sets. Really, I think right now there are only 2 things that could slow the Oaks down. Their own mistakes and Taylor Jackie. As Jessica Williams serves, it's Herrera for Dungo. Waiting is Whitney off the top of the block for the Warriors. Jessica Williams to Ashanti Grayer, and that's inbounds, and it's 10-6. Denise Sheldon has one more timeout, and now is the time she wishes to use it. Oaks down by 4 in the 5th set and trying desperately to stay alive. We'll be back on the Menlo College Sports Network. Back from the timeout, 10-6 our score. Oaks down by 4 in the 5th set. Jessup trying to pull off just the 3rd win in program history against Menlo. Herrera, Scott, Kekawoha after some confusion just rallies it across. The bump, and Grayer gets it over. Schaefer kept it off the floor. Dungo for Kristen Whitney, and Jessica Williams is right there. Berger now for Borges, and she's blocked. Williams on the bump. Grayer there into the net. And she almost ran into Jessica Williams, who had fallen after the set. It's now 10-7. Kristen Whitney comes off. Janae Wooten comes on. Janae Wooten to serve it. The Oaks could use a run right here. Berger. The set by Williams. Grayer tipped up front. Schaefer readjusts. Kekawoha for Jaden Scott, turns around, Grayer hops it in the air. Williams back for Grayer, right through the Oaks. It's 7-11. The Warriors have been making noise all night on their side of the floor. They know that they are certainly a team that can compete with anybody in the GSAC. They've shown it all year, just like this Menlo College team. Their seasons have mirrored each other in so many ways. It's only fitting that they mirror each other here tonight. Kekawoha scraped it off the floor. Dungo tipped at the net. It was met there again. Jaden Scott slapped it over. Jessica Williams has it. Now it's Jackie. She's blocked, and Jackie gets her own dig. Jackie, another attempt. That hit the net. That didn't go over, and the officials call it as such. 8 serving 11. Nicole DiMartino goes back. Stands still, slaps it deep. Oh, it just missed. It was close, it was ruled correctly, but the Warriors, the wherewithal and the presence to let that one go and not take it, wise beyond their years. 12-18, Warriors up. Kekawoha for Dungo, right back to Kekawoha, and Marlowe is there. Bumped in the ceiling. Jackie DiMartino with her best dig of the night. Kekawoha blocked, tapped by Kekawoha, back to the Warriors' end. Vandella Williams is blocked, the ball goes out of bounds, and that's a point for William Jessup. It's now 13-8. And the Oaks have no timeouts to try and stop a rally. So they'll use this as a de facto timeout. DiMartino comes off, Schaefer comes on. It's a serve for Berger. The Warriors are 2 points away. Herrera to Dungo. Kekawoha slaps it in deep. Berger was there on the dig. Off the net. Jaden Scott might have gotten a hand on it for the block. It's 13-9. And Luciana Herrera will go back to serve. It's run time for the Oaks. They got to go. Berger. Williams for Vandella Williams in the corner. And it's 14-9. Back in the opportunity for set and match point is Alicia Borges. There's the serve. Herrera, Dungo, Kekawoha floats it over the block. Berger right there with the set. Vandella Williams, the silencer, has silenced the Prim as the Warriors win in 5 over Menlo College. What a night it was, and our full post-game show will be coming up in a moment right here on the Menlo College Sports Network. Well, we're back here on the Menlo College Sports Network as the William Jessup Warriors have won in 5 sets over Menlo College. The final score in this one of 3 sets to 2, and in the 5th set it was 15-9. William Jessup out in front. Some lofty totals tonight as Moya Keiko-Woha finished with 23 kills for the Oaks. Jaden Scott added 10. Pamela Dungo continues her record-breaking season as she now takes over the assist lead in the record book for Menlo College. She had 46 assists tonight. She's now 16 above Kelly Sung and the all-time leader for a Menlo College career. 31 digs for Luciana Herrera. I think that's the 4th time this month she's gone over 30. 18 there were a lot of digs. 93 for the Oaks. 106 for William Jessup. 27 for Casey Berger to lead the charge there. Vendella Williams and Taylor Jackie, we know they were the 2 best players on the floor tonight, and the stats definitely indicated that. 19 kills apiece and an impressive 36% swinging it for Vendella Williams. 10 kills as well for Ashanti Grayer. A quick look ahead at the schedule for William Jessup as we try to get on out of here. They will be on the road for the next 2. They go down to Arizona, and they'll be taking on Arizona Christian on Friday night. They'll be taking on OUAZ on Saturday afternoon. Down first in Phoenix and then in Surprise. Menlo College, they are done at home until their final homestand of the year. The Oaks go on the road, make that same trip. They'll go Ottawa first, OUAZ, and then followed up by ACU. Their next home match will be on November 1st as we wrap up the regular season, the home portion of the schedule, as the Oaks will take on the Masters University Friday night, followed up with Westmont on Saturday. That will be senior day, and that's going to be a whole heck of a lot of fun. That'll do it for our broadcast tonight. On behalf of everybody at Menlo College and Menlo College Athletics, and our broadcast producer tonight, Isaiah Shigematsu, I'm Brian Brownfield. We sign off. The Oaks fall in 5 to William Jessup in a thrilling night of volleyball inside Haynes Brim Pavilion. The final score, William Jessup 3 and Menlo College 2.